So, good morning everyone. My name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. As usual, we will go through some important articles which can be important for you. We will start with the practice question, then we will move to the fact of the day. After that, we will talk about constitution amendments and then we will move forward. Okay. So, let us start with the discussion. First, we will be starting with the practice question. Then after all this discussion, we will be talking about these three important articles. Justice Khanna to be next CGI. You know that our current CGI, that is DY Chandrachud, his tenure is to be about to be end. So the next CGI will be Justice Khanna. Okay, so we'll be talking about that. We'll talk about the procedure, we'll talk about the collegium, and then we'll move further to the next one, that is Great Indian Bustard and Artificial Insemination. So for the first time, you can say that for first ever birth of Great Indian Bustard through the artificial insemination has happened. So that is an important, you can say, step toward the conservation of the Great Indian Bustard. So we will be talking about that. Then moving further, landfall of a cyclone. You must have heard of the cyclone Dana. Okay. And regarding that, we will be talking about when we are talking about the landfall that has happened on the Odisha and the Bengal coast. So we will be talking about what is a landfall and how it is actually is driven and what are the factor behind that. All these things we will be discussing. Okay. Then for your own read, there will be articles. We will be talking about some more articles which are related to like there is this forecast at the panchayat level, etc. So there are 3-4 more articles which we will be discussing today. Okay. Here you can see this is the front page. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, appointed next CGI, will enter into office on 11th of November. Okay. Here you can see there is this visit by Omar Abdullah, that is the CM of Jammu and Kashmir. He has visited Delhi and he has put forward the resolution with respect to the statehood of the JNK. Okay. Then 2 soldiers, 2 porters killed in attack on army convoy in Jammu and Kashmir. This was another terrorist attack which has happened. And other than that, these cyclone Dana, which you must have you can say watched the video which I suggested last time, that we have covered that cyclone Dana in depth. Okay, so you could have gone through that. Okay, let's move further and start our discussion. So the practice question, if we are talking about, so here you can see, which existing infrastructure will BRICS Pay utilize? Yesterday we have talked about the BRICS Pay. This will be an international, you can say, payment system on the lines of SWIFT. You know that there is this messaging system which is there, which is catering to the international payments, etc. That is SWIFT. Most of the time you will be seeing that this is West dominated, okay, application which is there. So right now you can say Asian countries are going for alternative infrastructure in the form of BRICS Pay, okay, from the BRICS. Okay. So they are saying that which existing infrastructure they will be using. So we have discussed yesterday that MIR from Russia and UPI from India, these are the infrastructure which will be used for the, you can say, BRICS Pay. Okay, I hope that is clear. Option B would be your right answer. Okay, now we can move further. Before that, I would like to take this opportunity to tell you that on the occasion of Diwali, we are offering 40% discount on all online pen drive courses, test series and distance learning program. You can visit the link which is given in the description. You can fill out the form, secure a seat. This offer is valid from 26th to 28th of October, or otherwise you can when you are downloading this particular PDF, in that also there is this link which is provided, so you can click on that and directly fill the form. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Now let's move further. Facts of the day. Recently on 23rd of October, there was International Snow Leopard Day. Okay, when we are talking about the snow leopard, these are also known as the ghost of the mountain. These are the species of, when we talk about the big cats, this is one of the species which is living in low temperature area, high altitude area. Okay, so these are snow leopards. These are also known as the ghost of the mountain because obviously because of their color, and in the night you will be seeing that since these are the area which are having snow cover, and because of their color they would not be recognized if they are present over there. Okay, so that is there. Other than that, when we are talking about the IUCN status, that is vulnerable sites, if we talk about, so this is in the appendix 1 of the sites. And then if we talk about the Indian Wildlife Protection Act, that is WPS 1972, it is under the schedule 1. So we can say that they are being given high level of protection. So that is there. Other than that, if you are talking about the threats, so here you can say human snow leopard conflict, climate change, loss of prey and habitat, and poaching. These are the threats which are there to the population of snow leopards. Now when we talk about the snow leopards, in which area they are prominent, so there are certain countries, or you can say some snow leopard ranges are there. Here you can see these are the areas. Okay, so Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, China, Bhutan. These are the countries where you can find them. Okay, mostly you can say there are 12 countries, 4, 4 and 4. These are 12 snow leopard range countries, you can say. Okay, these are snow leopard range countries. There are 12 countries where this particular species of big cat is found. Okay, if we are talking about the habitat, here you can say there are 12 range countries, and these are mostly found in the Central and the Southern Asia. Okay, so this is your Central and the Southern Asia. Okay. Moving further, in India, Western Himalayas, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, and Eastern Himalayas, that is Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. These are the areas where you can find these snow leopards. Okay. Major sites that we talk about, so there are protection sites which are there. Hemis National Park in Ladakh, snow leopard capital of the world. It is considered as the snow leopard capital of the world, that is Hemis National Park in Ladakh. Okay. Then Great Himalayan National Park in Himachal Pradesh, Gangotri National Park in Uttarakhand, and Kanchenjunga National Park, that is in Sikkim. These are the major, or you can say prominent sites with respect to that. Okay. Yes, it is found in the Hemis National Park as well, and it is basically, you can say that it is considered as the snow leopard capital of the world. Okay. Now this is about the today's fact. This is about snow leopard. Why we have taken this? Because on 23rd of October we have Snow Leopard Day, or International Snow Leopard Day. Okay, so that is why we have taken this. Now we can move further to the next topic, that is the Constitution Amendment. We have talked about the you can say first one, fourth one. Now we are talking about the 9th Amendment Act. Okay, so why 9th Amendment Act? So this is a particular, you can say, amendment which happened because of a reason. There was this reason behind it. We will understand the reason first, and then we will come to the conclusion that what change was made in this particular constitutional amendment. Okay. Now there was this Nehru-Noor agreement which was signed between two countries, that is between India and Pakistan. At that point of time, when we are talking about, the Pakistan was divided in two parts. One was your East Pakistan, okay, and then there was this West Pakistan. East Pakistan is today's Bangladesh. Okay, in 1971 it became Bangladesh. Before that it was East Pakistan. Now there was this territory, that is Berubari. Berubari Union was a territory which was there, and there was a conflict with respect to that territory, and there was, because of this particular conflict, we have come up with a agreement, that is Nehru-Noor agreement. Now after the Nehru-Noor agreement was signed between India and Pakistan to divide the territory of Berubari Union, the government of West Bengal opposed to it. Okay, now obviously with Bangladesh, you know that we have the state which is having a boundary, that is West Bengal. Now Berubari Union was supposed to be divided as per the Nehru-Noor agreement between two countries. Okay, now at that point of time, West Bengal government has some kind of issue. They have said that this is a territory of a state, now we cannot secede it to another country. Okay, now after this union referred the matter to the Supreme Court, which held that the power of parliament to diminish the area of state under Article 3 does not cover the secession of the Indian territory or foreign country. Now when it was referred to the Supreme Court has said that when we are talking about the Article 3, wherein central government can, or the parliament can go for the, you can say, change in the area of the state. Okay, for that you don't require any constitutional amendment. Okay, now talking about the change in the area of the state, they have said that that is the power to the parliament. But the thing is, if you are changing the area, if you are shortening the area, if you are reducing the area, but that area is going outside the India's territory, okay, or you are seceding this area to another country, in that case you have to go for the constitutional amendment. You cannot directly do it with the, you know, simple majority. So that is why here Supreme Court has said that to diminish the area of the state, that is the power of parliament under Article 3, does not cover the secession of the Indian territory to a foreign country. Now hence Indian territory can be seceded to a foreign state only by amending the constitution under Article 368. Under Article 368 means that you have to go for the special majority now. Okay, now Consequently, the 9th Constitutional Amendment Act was enacted. Now, because of this judgment wherein Supreme Court has said that you cannot go for giving the territory to another country without going for the change in the constitution, or you can say you have to go for the constitutional amendment under Article 368, and that is why they have come up with the 9th Amendment Act, which actually seceded the territory to Bangladesh. Okay, hold on. Now, consequently, the 9th Constitutional Amendment Act, that is 1960, was enacted, facilitating the secession of the Indian territory of Berubari Union located in the West Bengal to Pakistan as provided in the Indo-Pakistan Agreement, that is 1958. Okay. So, ultimately, this particular territory was given to, you can say, East Pakistan at that point of time, and now that is Bangladesh. So, for giving that particular territory to East Pakistan, or at that point of Pakistan, you can say this particular 9th Amendment Act was there. So, it is clear now from this 9th Amendment Act, what is clear is that first thing, you cannot secede a territory to another state or another country just by simple majority. You have to go for the Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay. Now, reducing a area of a particular state, that is power of parliament. Let's say this is the area of a particular state, and now you are reducing this, you are taking out this particular area from the state. That parliament can do, but that area should stay within Indian territory only. Okay. If you are giving this area away to another country, for that you have to go for the you can say Constitution Amendment Act. Okay. So, that is the takeaway from this discussion today. Now, coming to the next part, wherein we will be talking about the Justice Sanjeev Khanna appointed next CGI will enter into office on November 11th. Okay. Now, see, President Draupadi Murmu on Thursday appointed Justice Sanjeev Khanna as the 51st Chief Justice of India. So that you can remember, he is the 51st Chief Justice after D.Y. Chandrachud. Okay. Now will succeed CGI D.Y. Chandrachud, who is due to retire in November, on November 10th. So he will retire on November 10th. From the 11th November, we have new CGI, that is Justice Sanjeev Khanna. Okay. Now, from which article they have taken this power to appoint this judge? So, appointment of judges are given in Article 124, that is 124 clause 2, which is talking about the appointment of the judges. Okay. Now, he is the Chief Justice of the you can say Supreme Court. So, obviously, for that also, for that appointment also, the President has power, and that power is been given in Article 124 clause 2. Okay. So, that is given over here. Now, talking about the background, he is from the CLC Campus Law Center, Delhi University. Okay. Now, coming to the collegium system. Now, how these appointments are happening? See, now when we are talking about the collegium system, this is a system wherein judges are appointing judges. Okay, generally it is said that, but when we are talking about right now, you just have said that the President Draupadi Murmu has appointed him. So, appointment will be done by the President only, but the advice or the suggestion will be given by the collegium. Okay. Now, collegium suggestions are in first instance they can give the suggestions, and it will be given to the law ministry. Law ministry will give it to the Council of Ministers and the you can say Pradhan Mantri or Prime Minister, and then that will be given to the you can say President, and President on the aid and advice of you can say Council of Ministers will appoint that particular person as a judge. Okay. Now, in this case here you can say system of appointment and transfer of the judges, that is with respect to the collegium, what are the works or the job, that is appointment and the transfers of judges, that will be done by the overseen by the collegium system, evolved through the judgment of the Supreme Court. That is not given in the you can say your constitution, etc. This is a institution which has been developed on the basis of the Supreme Court's judgment. Okay. So, we will be talking about that. Now, when we are talking about the Chief Justice appointment, most of the time it is seen that the senior most member of the you can say the judges, he will be appointed as the Chief Justice, but there are exceptions as well. Okay. Now, let us see. Constitution provision related to the appointment of judges, that is 124 clause 2, which we have seen for the Supreme Court, and for the High Court, that is 270. Okay. Appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, President makes an appointment after consulting with such judges of Supreme Court and the High Courts as he or she may deem necessary. Now, this is what it consulting, this word consulting which is written over here, that is there in the you can say constitution, which is saying that President will make the appointment after consulting. Okay. Now, that was the issue over here, that consultation should be binding or not. Consultation is the consensus with the judges or not. Okay. So that was the issue because of which this matter has gone through the court. There were 3-4 judges case, and on the basis of that we have come up with the collegium. Okay. Now, but the constitution does not lay down any process for making these appointments. So as I told you, there is no procedure which is given in the constitution. This mechanism is devised by the Supreme Court in various judgment. Now here you can see first judge case was there, that was under that the term consultation. Here you can see the word consultation in article 124 clause 2 and 217 of the constitution does mean concurrence. Now they are saying that it does not, it does mean the concurrence gave the executive primacy over the uh, here you can see it does not mean concurrence. Okay, sorry, it does not mean concurrence. That means that the word consultation is not same with the concurrence. That means the advice which is given by the judges, that is not binding on the, you can say, president. So that means that president has a supremacy, executive has the supremacy over here. So here you can see gave executive primacy over the judiciary in the judicial appointments. Now comes the second judge case. In the second judge case, again this question was there whether this it is concurrence or not. So Supreme Court this time said that they have overruled the first judge case, and they said that this term you can say consultation, that means concurrence. Okay, and concurrence with whom? Concurrence with a collegium. Collegium of whom? There is this judges which will be there in the collegium. There will be CGI plus 2 senior most judges of the Supreme Court. Okay, so here you can see this particular case has gave birth to the collegium system, primacy to the judiciary, and they have said that this consultation means concurrence. That means that whatever this collegium is saying, you have to, you can say, stick to that. Okay. So collegium includes Chief Justice of India plus 2 senior most judges. So this is how collegium came into picture. But today's collegium, or the present form of the collegium, has came under the third judge case, that is 1998. Under that the collegium you can say has been enhanced, or you can say improved, CGI plus 4 senior most judges of the court. Okay, so that is CGI plus 4. Right now if we talk about the structure of the collegium, that is CGI plus 4 judges. Okay, at high court collegium, that is you can say CGI plus 2 senior most judges of the Supreme Court. For that that is for the high court. Now what is the criticism of this system? First thing, whatever is happening inside the collegium, or whatever proceedings are happening inside the collegium that are not made public, that are opaque, that is happening in the under the closed doors, in the inside the closed doors. So here you can see it is opaque. Scope of nepotism, favoritism, that can be there. Then exclusion of the executive, since executive is being not given the primacy over here. So you must have heard about the National Judicial Appointment Committee, and they have said that they can go for the committee that will be constituted, that will decide on the appointments, and in that committee Union Minister of Law was also part of that. And this particular, you can say, constitutional amendment was basically made, you can say, unconstitutional. This law was made unconstitutional by Supreme Court. Okay, and that is called as the fourth judge case. Okay, so they have made sure that the executive supremacy is not there, executive primacy is not there in the judicial appointments. Okay, so here you can say exclusion of the executive, no predetermined procedure for the appointment. There is no predetermined procedure. Whatever is happening inside the closed doors of the collegium, we do not know how they are deciding on it. Okay, so that is something which we have talked about collegium. Now we can move further to the next topic, that is landfall of a cyclone. Now when we talk about the cyclone, recently it was in news. Earlier we have witnessed Asna, after that now we are having this Dana. Okay, this name Dana means generosity, and this name has been given by Qatar. Okay, when we talk about the naming the cyclone, there is this body, that is WMO, and when we talk about the Northern Indian Ocean region, we have IMD. Now IMD will ask for ask the various countries in the region that you have to give the name. Okay, and then there will be a list which will be prepared on the, you can say, suggestions of these names which has been given by the various countries. And once this list is made, okay, so similarly they will follow the list. First cyclone will be named that, second cyclone will be named accordingly in the list, third cyclone will be named after that. Okay, so this is how the naming of the cyclones are done in the, you can say, our system, international system. Now coming to the landfall. What is landfall? Now when cyclone comes and hit the, you can say, coast of or land, basically that is called as landfall. Okay, now when we talk about, two terms are there. One is direct hit, second is landfall. direct hit means that the first occurrence of the cyclone on the you can say land. Okay, so let's say this is the cyclone. Okay, now this is the eye of the cyclone, wherein you will have the calm winds. Okay, these winds are basically there is this process of convection which is happening. These winds are going above and they are going creating clouds over there. Okay, so this is the warm winds which are rising above. So this is relatively calmer section of the you can say cyclone. So this particular part is calm or relatively calmer. Okay, then this is the part where you will be witnessing condensation and the rainfall, etc. Okay, so this is the part where you will be witnessing rainfall. Now when this part, okay, this part is hitting the coast, that is called as direct hit. Okay, and when this eye of the cyclone is hitting the coast, that means that you are having the landfall. Okay, so that is the difference between direct hit and the landfall. Now let's see. Over here you can see the event of storm system coming ashore after being over water is referred as the landfall. Okay, so this particular system which was there over the water and then when it hit the coast, that is what is called as landfall. Okay, now this particular time the Dana has hit the coast in the Odisha and West Bengal. Over here you can say Bhitarkanika National Park and the Dhamra port, these are the important you can say landmarks which are there, and they are also hit by the you can say storm over here. Now coming to the next one, when we are talking about the path of cyclone, that is somewhere over here in the Bay of Bengal and that has come over the way to our coast. Okay, now Odisha and West Bengal has seen the landfall, cyclone Dana to make landfall after later in the night, that is on the Thursday or Friday. Now wind speed that will be somewhere around 120 to 125 kilometer per hour, and that was expected to hit the Bhitarkanika and the Dhamra port, which we have already seen. Now I and the landfall. Tropical cyclones are rotating storm system. This is a rotating storm system which we know that when we talk about cyclones in the northern sphere, that has the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so that is there. Cyclones are the rotating storm systems that typically develop over the warm oceans. Now for the development of these cyclones, there are 2 or 3 conditions which are necessary. Okay, one is your low pressure. Low pressure system should be there over there on the you can say on the surface of the ocean. Okay, and then there will be this warm surface temperature should be somewhere around 27 degree or something. Okay, now when this is having a temperature, this is somewhere around 27 degrees Celsius or more, and then it is having a low pressure. And third is Coriolis force. This Coriolis force will give the rotation to the cyclone. Okay, and this is how this system is developing over here. Okay, so this is the 3 condition. One is your low pressure temperature, that is 27 degree or more, or the Coriolis force. These are the 3 prerequisites for the development of the cyclone. Okay, now this is a tropical cyclone, so this will develop between the 2 tropics. That is, there was the event of the storm system coming ashore after being over the water referred as the landfall. Tropical cyclones spin around the eye. This is the eye and it is spinning around that particular eye. The area of relatively calm winds at the center, that is somewhere around 35 to 65 kmph. As I told you, this is relatively calm area. This area, if you are talking about, that would be somewhere around 120 to 125 depending on the severity of the cyclone. Okay, now coming to the next, here you can see Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, a tropical cyclone is said to have made landfall when the center of the storm or the eye has made over the coastline. Now when this eye of the storm is making to the coastline, that is called as the landfall of the cyclone. Okay, now not a direct hit, as I told you, landfall and direct hit, these are the 2 different you can say concept over here. Landfall, we have seen that the hitting the eye of the cyclone at the shore. Then when we are talking about the situation where the core of the high winds comes, or that is basically your eye wall comes ashore, but the center of the storm is still you can say that is on the offshore. Okay, so let's see this area, this you can see, this is area basically your eye wall. Okay, and this is the eye. Now where I is reaching to the, you can say, land, that means that now cyclone is being weak, now it will actually collapse. Now when we are talking about this eye wall or this particular area, when this is hitting the coast, that is basically your, you can say, direct hit. Okay. Now eye wall, the witness here, we are seeing that only one line is there, but this witness can be, you can say, the width can be very high. So that is why we are saying that this particular component, this is the component of your eye wall, and when this eye wall is hitting the coast, that is what is called as direct hit. Okay. Now we can move further. Strongest winds in the tropical cyclones are not located at its center. The most severe burn of the storms may be experienced over the land, even if the landfall has not yet occurred. Okay, landfall means that eye will hit. Now still, if the landfall has not occurred, but you will be witnessing severe impacts on the shore because this eye wall is hitting it, and eye wall is the area which is having the highest speed, which is having the most roaring, you can say, activities which are happening over here. Okay. Now extent of the damage depends on the severity of the cyclone. Severity depends on the speed of the cyclone. Speed, severity, all these things depend on the moisture content of the cyclone. Okay. So for the time for which these cyclones are there in the ocean, they will gather the you can say moisture, and this moisture will be driving the cyclone, because this is something which is creating the, you can say, clouds, etc. So once cyclone is hitting the land, after that the source of mountain is disrupted, and because of which the cyclone will start to weaken. Okay. So that is there. The kind of the damage is caused by the extremely strong winds, heavy rainfall, and the storm surges, the leading to the inland flooding. Okay. This is common sense. Duration of the landfall, so duration can be, few hours to you can say 1 or 2 days as well, depending on the, size of the cyclone. Okay. So landfall can last for few hours depending on the speed of the winds and the size of the storm system. Dana is having a speed that is 125 km/h. Cyclone lose its intensity once they move over to the land, because the supply of the moisture that feeds the storm dries up and the surface friction increases. This means that while the landfalls are often the most devastating moments of the cyclone, they are the weakest moment as well. Okay, because at that point of time the cyclone is beginning to, you can say, end. Okay, so that is what your landfall is and why this is important. Okay, so you can go through this picture becomes important. There are three conditions. One is low pressure, temperature that is 27 degree or more, and third is your Coriolis force. Coriolis force is basically, you can say, a force which is because of the rotation of the earth. Okay, and since this is a circular in nation, and that is why it will give a rotational angle, or you can say it will give a rotation to the cyclone. So that is about the landfall of the cyclone. Now we can move further to the next one. Just 150 of them left. Glimmer of the hope for the great Indian bustard after first ever artificial insemination birth has happened. Okay, so this is the chick which was hatched on October 16th. This is the first time that we have gone for the artificial insemination in the GIB. The population of GIB is declining. There are various threats with respect to the habitats, with respect to the overhead power lines, because of which there are collision. These birds are colliding with these power lines and they are dying. Because of all this, the population of this great Indian bustard had declined, and now we are going for the conservation efforts. One of them is the captive breeding, that is artificial insemination, and this is the first time we have seen a positive result over here. There are various other countries which has also gone for the similar, you can say, processes, that is Abu Dhabi. When we talk about Abu Dhabi has also witnessed similar, you can say, decline in the, you can say, Houbara bustard. Okay, Houbara, this species, or the name of the species, you can remember, because since great Indian bustard has been in the news for a long time. Okay, so that they might ask you about this species as well. This is found in Abu Dhabi. Okay, so this is there. They have also gone for the artificial insemination. Few of our experts has gone there. They have learned the procedure, then they have applied it in Rajasthan. Most of the population of great Indian bustard is found in Rajasthan. It is a bird which is, you can say, quite tall and large in size, and their peripheral vision is not very good, because of which they are encountering with the power lines, and ultimately they are dying because of that. So all these things which are given over here. When we talk about the areas where this particular bird is found, so it is found in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, these are the area where you can find their presence, but maximum of them are found in the Gujarat, Rajasthan area, and even more of them are found in the Rajasthan. Okay, and when we talk about Rajasthan, there is this desert national park wherein this particular procedure was performed. Sorry for that. So in the, you can say, desert national park that is there in Jaisalmer, this procedure was performed. Okay, so you can go through this particular article. There are one or two facts which has been asked about the animal behavior in the last few examinations. So I will tell you that when we talk about these great Indian bustards, they will give one egg in a year. Okay, so here you can see somewhere over here they might have written somewhere, Great Indian bustard lays one egg a year, and that is having a size of 3 chicken eggs. Okay, laid down on the ground nest. When we talk about these birds, these are very heavy birds, so they lay their eggs on the ground. Ground nests are there, and most of the time you will be seeing that they will be giving, you can say, these eggs in a very remote area where no population is there. But because of the habitat destruction, it is not very easy to find such areas where no one is coming. Okay, and because of which these eggs are being preyed by the other animals as well, and that is one of the reason because of which this population is also declining. So that you can remember. Now once this particular egg is hatched, for next 2 years these Great Indian bustards, they will be taking care of that particular, you can say, chick. Okay, and ultimately after 2 years only they will give a new egg. Okay, so that is the something behavioral procedure which is there, which you can remember. They might ask you this. Okay, so this is about it. We have talked about this. Now here you can say one more thing. Because of the overhead power lines, Supreme Court in 2021 given a judgment wherein they have said that all the power lines should be made underground. Okay, but after that government has filed a, you can say, affidavit saying that it is practically not possible, and that is why Supreme Court has said that they will review the judgment. Okay, so that is about Great Indian bustard. There are certain other facts which are given over here. When we talk about the, you can say, Great Indian bustard, this is the heaviest bird that can fly. Okay, so that is one thing. If we talk about the size of it, that is somewhere 3.3 feet tall, and they are of one, you can say, 18 kg. Okay, so that is, you can say, a lot. When we are thinking about a flying, you can say, we can say that 18 kg is a lot for a bird. Now when we are talking about the threats, we have already seen areas, that is Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Rajasthan. Okay, so here you can see Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. This is the area which is having the most prominence. Some of them are found in Pakistan as well. Okay, threats we have already seen. So this is about the Great Indian bustard. Okay, now we can move further. 1.5 degrees Celsius target will be gone in few years. UN report. There is this UN report which has come before the you can say conference which is about to happen. Okay, in Baku, Azerbaijan. There is this conference for the, when we are talking about the you can say these environment and the climate change related conference which is supposed to happen in Baku, and before that there is this report by UN which is saying that this target of 1.5 degrees Celsius which was kept under the Paris target, Paris climate agreement. Okay, under that we have said that we will be trying to, you can say, restrict the temperature change to 1.5 degrees Celsius, or at max we will go for the 2 degrees Celsius. Okay, now this target might be gone if we do not take very active steps in the next 2 years. Okay, so here you can see greenhouse gas emission of China and India, the two top of the three emitters, grew by 5.2% and 6.1% respectively in the year 2023. A global emission in 2023 was 1.3% higher than the previous year. The emission gap report, annual publication of UN Environment Program. Now please remember this. This is very important. This is emission gap report. This is an annual report which is given by UNEP. Okay, and that is saying that 1.3% more emission has been there. Okay, moving further, the emission gap report, annual publication of the UN Environment Program, warned that the Paris Agreement objective of keeping the global rise in temperature to within 1.5 degrees Celsius would be gone within a few years, and even the 2 degrees Celsius threshold would be gone, you can say, would be in the danger of being breached unless the countries dramatically scale up their climate action to reduce the global emission in the next 2 years. Okay, so that is there. Now, just ahead of the climate change conference, every year the current climate actions, even the most optimistic one, we are saying that will reduce the emission by 10% only. Whatever current situation is there, and we are being the optimistic person, and we can say that by 2030 we will be reducing 10% of the emission from the 2019 level. But how much we require? We require 42% reduction if we want to attach stay on the 1.5 degree Celsius target. And if we are looking at you can say 2 degree, then we have to go for the even more emission cuts. Okay, so here you can see it is required to keep the 1.5 degree target in sight was 42% reduction. The reduction must increase to 57% by 2035. Okay, so these are certain you can say data which has been given by the UNEP over here before the climate change conference, so that they can take all these things into cognizance. Okay, now the update climate change plans which will be given by the countries in the next year. So for that they have given that, so that they can come up with a better idea. Okay, now with the least 7.5% reduction every year till 2035 was essential to keep the target alive. Now this is, you can say, which is important, that you need to have 7.5% reduction per year till 2035 if you want to stick to 1.5 degree Celsius target. Now what has happened this time? We have increased the emission by 1.3%. We have to reduce it by 7.5% every year till 2035, but we are still increasing it. Okay, so that is the kind of efforts we are doing for climate change right now. Anyways, in the Paris Agreement in 2015, it was said that we will be limiting the temperature change to 2 degrees Celsius above you can say considering the pre-industrial level. Okay, so that was one thing. Negotiable by 197 countries were part of it. It was signed by 191 countries. Okay, so it was initially negotiated by 197 countries and signed by 191 countries to intensify the actions and the funds for a sustainable low carbon future. Other than that, also there are certain other factors were there which you can go through your static notes. Okay, what are India's plans? So India has made these commitments to reduce the emission intensity by at least 33% by 2030, to generate at least 40% of the electricity from the non-fossil fuel sources by 2030, and to create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons. Okay, so India is right now on the right track with respect to the, you can say, carbon emissions and the climate change. Okay, so we are doing good in this particular arena. Okay, now moving further, officer competency model draws from the PM's Man Ki Baat. Okay, so this capacity building commission was actually came into picture. Capacity building commission. Now the aim is to go from the Karmchari to Karm Yogi. Okay, Karmchari is the public servants which are generally known as the government officials or the Karmchari, and from Karmchari to we are trying to be Karm Yogi. That means that without any kind of expectation in return, we are trying to give our best to the society. That is Karm Yogi. This is the vision of our Prime Minister on the Man Ki Baat. He has talked about this, and on the basis of which they have actually you can say made a commission, that is capacity building commission, and that commission has come up with a model which is to train our bureaucrats even better. Okay, for that there is this various courses will be designed. Okay, and that will be there for the, you can say, betterment of the our bureaucracy. The capacity building commission constituted by the government 3 years ago has developed the Karm Yogi competency model for civil servants. Karm Yogi competency model for civil servants, which is the framework of behavior and the functional competencies. So there are two kind of, you can say, competencies will be there. There are certain characteristics which has been decided. We will be talking about that. Okay, to aid their transition from Karmchari, that is employee, to Karm Yogi, that is dedicated worker. Now, inspired by the Prime Minister's Narendra Modi's Man Ki Baat program, model aims to optimize the deployment of the officials to the role based on their competencies. Okay, now based on the competencies they will be given their role. Okay, so that they can perform better, and you can say optimal use of resources can be done, which are also mapped to course on the integrated government online training program that we have, IGOT, integrated government online training program which is there, a portal which is there, on which there are various courses which are available for the government servants for their training. Now they have to spend some particular time, they have to actually take these courses on the yearly basis so that they can enhance their capacities. Now here you can see the model draws inspiration from the 4 resolutions every public official should embody, that is Vikas, Kartavya, Garv and Ekta. These are the 4 you can say they have these are some kind of values which was supposed to be inculcated in the you can say public servant. It consists of 34 competencies. When we are talking about this Karma Yogi competency model, this is having 34 competencies. 13 are behavioral, rest are functional. Okay. Now remaining 21 are basically functional. When we talk about behavioral, there are self-awareness, personal effectiveness, creativity, innovation, strategic leadership. And when we are talking about the functional, so that is citizen-centric, to make sure the policy architecture is better, digital fluency, financial management, data analytics. So this is basically functional or technical, you can say, okay. This particular thing is designed, so you have to take the course. Now course, once you take a course, certificate will be given and the course information will be sent to your officials so that they know that you have enhanced your capabilities. Accordingly work will be allotted to you. Okay, so that is about this particular you can say Karma Yogi competency model. You can go through this. Okay, this is for the upscaling, or you can say making sure that our bureaucrats are well trained and they are following the trends. Okay. Now moving further, how panchayat level weather forecast will be helped. Now earlier when we are talking about the forecast, they used to happen on the district levels, etc. Now there are panchayat level forecast which will happen. Now panchayat level forecast will be helping the villagers or the farmers so that they can go for the better decision making with respect to the agriculture, okay, or the disaster preparedness. Okay, this article is not talking about anything very technical in terms of this particular you can say incident or this particular initiative, that is panchayat level weather forecast. Now this is little bit difficult when we talk about the bigger area or the bigger model if we are considering, then it is easy to you can predict. Okay, why? Because when we talk about the Indian monsoon, we know that this is something which will hit the on the June 1st. Okay, so considering that, we predict accordingly, that because this is a big system and you can go for the macro analysis. Okay, but when we are talking about the panchayat level forecast, we have to go for the micro analysis. There are high chances that that cannot be true every time, but the thing is, if you have some kind of idea with respect to that, that means that you will be well prepared or better prepared, I would say. Okay, in that they will be talking about the temperature, daily temperature change, then they will be talking about the wind speed, they will be talking about the cloud formations, they will be talking about the rainfall. Okay, so all these things will be considered over here. Other than that, one more thing they are saying that they will be going for the hourly updates. Okay, and how you will be getting this update. So there are applications like you can say your panchayat, etc., on which they will be getting these you can say updates. Okay, so we have e-Gram Swaraj, we have Gram Manchitra portal, we have Meri Panchayat app and e-Gram Swaraj. These are certain applications which are there, these are certain portals which are there on which you will be getting the updates. Okay, so that is about it. You can go through this. Benefits are obviously helping the farmers to better plan their activities like sowing, in irrigation, harvesting. Other than that, if you talk about disaster preparedness, etc., these are the benefits. Now moving further, Jammu and Kashmir we have talked about. In here Mr. Omar Abdullah has visited Delhi and he has put forward the resolution with respect to the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so we have already given a passing reference to that. Now second thing is, abolished 3 years ago, Darbar move by a large reinstated. Darbar move, okay, that is something which used to happen from the time of Raja Ranbir Singh, Maharaja Ranbir Singh. He has started this in 1872. Capital used to shift from Jammu and Srinagar, between some Jammu and Srinagar. Okay, so that used to be there, and that was actually stopped because of the COVID. And after that, the status of the Jammu and Kashmir was changed. So for that, it was stopped, and now it has been reinstated. Okay, so here you can see Darbar moves. It was a biannual shift of the state secretariat and the other government offices from the summer capital. Summer capital is your Srinagar and winter capital is Jammu. Okay, so this was stopped way back in 2019, before that as well, and now this will be you can say reinstated. Okay, so that is there. Moving further, for your own read, there is this article, the India-China agreement. We have already talked about this. We have given the references regarding this, so you can go through this article. Okay. In the end, we have this practice question for you. Which country proposed the name Cyclone Dana? Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and India. So you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you, and please subscribe the channel.